On today's video, we are in Bradenton, Florida. And as you guys know, we have had new laws regarding homelessness in the state that if anybody is homeless or gets caught sleeping, they can just be arrested practically for being homeless. This law has been controversial because many people say it's unconstitutional. And so far in the state of Florida, nobody has actually been arrested that I've seen for this particular law. It seems like this particular law isn't really being enforced the way people thought it would. We're in Manatee County, Florida. I recently requested the first person that was homeless that was arrested after the implementation of this new homeless law. I requested the Freedom of Information Act video for this homeless arrest. However, it's been over a month and a half and the Manatee County Sheriff's Office has not provided me this footage. The state of Florida doesn't have a specific limitation on how long law enforcement can take to produce this footage. According to the Freedom of Information Act, it should be within a reasonable time frame, but that's left up to the decision of the state of Florida, and apparently their explanation of a reasonable time frame isn't really much. So on today's video, we're still waiting for that footage of the first homeless person to get arrested in Manatee County after the implementation of that law. I don't understand why it's taken over 6 weeks to produce that footage, but regardless, today we're going to try to find people who are still living homeless in Manatee and Sarasota counties despite the new homeless ban that takes effect in the state, which in effect means that anybody living in a place like this could just be arrested. It doesn't really give them too many rights. So on today's video, that's what we're doing. We're going to go out here and find some of these homeless camps. This one in particular is kind of nestled between some really nice real estate. These are nice properties. These are not bad areas. So I've been driving around Lakewood Ranch at night, and I've noticed in Lakewood Ranch where I live, which is a nice suburb, that at night I've seen homeless people walking. So what happens now is that at night the homeless people walk into the suburbs and sleep in the woods in smaller little, just a piece of cardboard or something more simple to draw less attention. So what has happened here in Bradenton and Manatee County is that the homeless population now finds itself more often living in the suburbs. Now, I'm not seeing so far any paraphernalia or anything of that nature here. So it looks like this may be a pretty clean homeless camp. Now, one of the unfortunate things about these homeless camps is that they have no way of getting rid of their garbage. So after a while, the garbage piles become so massive that you end up with sites like this. Now, this particular site is nowhere near a grocery store. The only thing around here are suburban communities. So it's kind of a very long trek for the homeless people that live here in these suburbs to have to commute all the way into the city on bicycles just to get to a grocery store, because after all, this is the suburbs out here. All right, guys, so here in the woods in Bradenton, you have a very primitive camp here. You can see you have a tarp, you have on some bricks parts of a couch that they've turned into a chair, a little table out of a cinder block, and a burn barrel in the background. This is a very primitive camp. Now, at this site, there was a very large and very elaborate homeless camp. What's left of it now, so let me just show you guys what's left of this place. Now, this doesn't look like much now. This actually looks like just garbage. But on Google satellite imagery, you can see that a while back, within the last year, somebody had a camp here that had solar panels, the tarps. They had 2 camps. Basically, this is a very well laid out camp. And it looks like at some point somebody burned what was left. You can see there's a fire here. In fact, they were even throwing garbage and plants on top of their garbage pile to conceal it. You can see here how their garbage pile is fairly well concealed. It isn't visible. This person actually cleared out an entire area here. All this was the camp. And this camp was very well laid out. They had a large tent laid up over there, a smaller tent over here, a garbage pile that they were keeping under seal with throwing trees on top of it so that the garbage pile isn't visible through satellite imagery. Obviously, I found this camp in the woods because I could see it on satellite imagery. But they were trying to keep an orderly operation here. But unfortunately, possibly the hurricane or the cops ran them out. And today this is an abandoned camp. I don't see too many signs of paraphernalia here. There are some they were drinking regular food, eating regular food. You can see they got water bottles, bug spray. And a lot of times something like bug spray, if somebody's got, if they're really deep into addiction, they're not going to have bug spray because that's $7 or $8. And most people who are addicted, they won't spend money on something like that. So whoever was at this camp most likely was an older male, or maybe 2 or 3 of them together. And it doesn't seem like this camp is one of those paraphernalia camps, because you're seeing a lot of food, you're seeing bug spray. Now, there are these big, giant containers here. And these containers perhaps have chemicals. Not sure what exactly they are, but they're scattered all through the woods. There's one here, one there. This person also, when you look through the food that's on the ground, they were eating a variety of different foods, which would suggest to me that this person wasn't your just typical homeless person who's very deep into addiction. When people get deep into addiction, the only thing they spend their money on is their addiction. But here there's a variety of different food packaging, which lets me know the person that was here was eating different foods. They weren't just eating one single thing. And of course, the people that live in these camps, even if they're not living a life of crime, they become targets for other homeless people. That took my job. Guys, so we're in an area known as Samoset. This is East Bradenton, really. And in this neighborhood, there are homeless camps here in the woods. Now, this area in the last week has had 3 shootings. Now, underneath this billboard, there was a homeless camp here, but it was recently cleared out. This homeless camp had a little hole in the fence here to enter. Alright guys, we're in an area of Samoset, and this area has a lot of homeless camps. You can see some shopping carts over there. One of the dangers of what we do, there is a hole here, sinkhole. Right there is part of it, and there's the rest of it right there. But you figure if you're walking through here at night, or if you're just not paying attention, there's a pretty decent sized sinkhole there. And wouldn't it be hard to find yourself? I don't know how deep it is, but maybe 7 or 8 feet. So we're right on the edge of it, right there. Straight drop down, baby. So one of the things that homeless people do is booby traps on the trail. It could be a sinkhole, or it could be a booby trap. So the homeless people live back here, they lay out booby traps, so when the cops come, they get hurt. So, all right, guys. So we finally found a trail here that will likely lead us to a homeless camp. Now, I've been going through a lot of these empty lots, and to be honest, the police has been relentlessly pushing homeless people out of these camps to the point where it's actually hard to find camps that are inhabited. So we're just going to keep exploring here, trying to find camps, but it's been kind of difficult. This spot here might be one of the last inhabitable camps we could find, probably. So there's all types of clothes everywhere. So we're finally inside a homeless camp here. And garbage bags. Now, along the major roadways here in Bradenton, most of the homeless camps are what I call needle junkie camps, where it's just littered with needles. Very dangerous places, and the people back here sometimes can be, somewhat unpredictable. They're all on different substances and stuff, so there's gonna be people back here. You can see the trails on the dirt. See if we can run into somebody. You can see there's definitely somewhat of a trail here. It's been used. So there's gonna be people back. I see a bicycle and everything, so let me see. It's a camp here. Let me see if I can talk to them. There's a camp over there. Huge tent. Camps ever. All right, boys, so we did find some people here at this particular camp, and they are not interested on being on camera, so we're gonna respect that. They got a nice little setup, very clean camp, and a beautiful dog. Beautiful dog. But we got to keep it moving because they are not interested in being on camera. But there are people living here in the woods, trying to stay out of the radar for sure. Seem like really nice people. Guys, so we're literally just on the side of Manatee. So here we are, one of the major thoroughfares of the city, Manatee. And boom, here you have somebody who has been sitting here in the woods, homeless, on the side of the road. It's so sad that somebody's life has to come to that. But that's what's happening, literally. Just practically sad. You know, it's just got all their garbage back here. All right, guys, so Tuesday night there was a homicide here in Bradenton following several shootings throughout the city. There was a shooting here where we're going to go to that led to the homicide of somebody who was not the intended victim. This person was a bystander, apparently. There's another shooting near here, and then there was another shooting way by the airport. In other words, Bradenton has had a week of shootings throughout the whole city, and it's led to a homicide of somebody who apparently wasn't even the intended victim. That's pretty sad to think that all you gotta be is the wrong person at the wrong place in the city. Bradenton is now on track to being the most dangerous city in Florida by homicide rate. If Bradenton continues the way it's going so far, it's gonna have a higher homicide rate than Jacksonville. And that puts Bradenton on track to being the most dangerous city in Florida by homicide rate in the year 2024. I'm not going to get out, probably, because I want to give these families the respect that they're due with this situation. But I do want to just show you guys the neighborhood where it happened. I don't want to be too intrusive, giving the families a little bit of respect they deserve. But this little intersection up here, 24th and 8th Street right there, with some crossed out gang graffiti. You can imagine that the families that are going through this situation have to be heartbroken. Imagine the pain of losing somebody who wasn't even the intended target of a shooting, just to be out here doing you, and then you end up getting shot for something that you were not even the intended target. I mean, it's so upsetting that this would happen, but this is the situations that are currently unfolding here in these neighborhoods. It's very sad. This is the Martin Luther King here, and Bradenton is only a block away. 9th Street's Martin Luther King. And if you were to go to Martin Luther King in Sarasota, the next town over, they have had shootings like crazy in the last couple months as well. So both Bradenton and Sarasota have been dealing with an onslaught of violence, homicides. Sarasota had 0 homicides last year, and it's up to 4 this year at least that I can see within city limits. So it's not a good scenario. If you've been watching my series, you know that there's a huge homeless problem here in Bradenton. It's visible. However, today as we're going to the city, you can tell it's been really difficult to find homeless camps, and the homeless population is being forced out of Bradenton by the police raids and the fear of the new law. Not that the new law is being enforced in any way, it's the fear of it. Anytime you have law enforcement focusing on petty crap like harassing the homeless people, then you end up with a festering problem of the real criminals that are more sophisticated. What made living in Bradenton nice was how beautiful the beaches were, but our entire coastline got destroyed with that hurricane. So if you pick up 6 people in Bradenton at night, out of those 6 people, at least 2 of them are going to be engaging in illegal activities, and you're driving these people around who are engaging in criminal activities. It's definitely dangerous. In Sarasota, it might be 1 in 15, 1 in 20. So at night, it's better to Uber drive in Sarasota and not around here. It's just too much problems. And I hate it because, again, the good people that live here in Bradenton don't deserve that an Uber driver won't go into these areas. Like, pretty much after 10:30, 11, just $15 surges all through Bradenton at night. Uber drivers won't come here. But you figure when there's a $15 surge in your city simply because Uber drivers are afraid to go there at night, should give you an indication how bad things are. So right now we're on 15th, and 15th goes from Bradenton to Samoset to Oneiko, three of the poorest areas. There's a lot of Mexican food trucks. They're hit or miss. But there's a little Guatemalan food truck right here. And there's a few Mexican food trucks right here. I guess we gotta try more of them and find if somebody lives here in Bradenton, what are the best ones, man? I'm not really a fan of shaming a small business, so I'm not gonna tell you the ones that I've tried that I haven't liked, because that's just wrong to do a small business like that. But not all of these food trucks here in Bradenton are great. They're not. So we're gonna head to Oneiko now, and in Oneiko, there's a homeless camp that was cleared out several months ago. It was a homeless camp in front of an elementary school, out of all things. And it got cleared out, and I'm gonna go back and see if the homeless people have moved back in. Now, this homeless camp was needle infected, and when they raided the homeless camp, allegedly there was a registered predator living. Imagine that, a registered predator living in a homeless camp in front of an elementary school. Dangerous situation. Needle-infected homeless camp with registered offenders that were not supposed to be living near a school. Dangerous situation was averted there for sure. Alright guys, so since the start of all these new homeless laws, the homeless population has really just had to hide deeper and deeper. I think there might be homeless people in these woods here. I can hear people screaming. Alright guys, so if you've watched my Florida homeless videos, you know that it's usually it's usually not difficult to find homeless people in Florida in the woods, especially here in Bradenton. But it seems that I've been going through all these wooded lots here in Bradenton, and the homeless population has really disappeared. Guys, so before the hurricane, there was a homeless camp on this empty lot, and the property owners had to spend a lot of money evicting the homeless camp that was here. Now the question is, have these homeless people returned to trash this property after being evicted? So, where yesterday, homeless camps full of needles, today you have wildlife. So this is really what the woods in Florida should look like. You have beautiful natural flowers. You have a raccoon over here. Just a little baby raccoon, the cutest thing I ever seen. But this is what the empty lots in Bradenton look like today. Wildflowers and wildlife. This is what's supposed to be on empty land. But just 6 months ago, this was a needle-infected homeless camp. Today, it's being restored back to nature. You can hear in the background the children screaming because there is a school right behind this empty lot. A school that was completely vulnerable to what was going on here on this empty lot, which was an open homeless camp that was just scattered with needles everywhere. You can see a piece of underwear right there, and there may still be remnants of this homeless camp scattered through here, or they may be already homeless people moving back into these woods, but I doubt it, because law enforcement has been eradicating the homeless population from Bradenton, Florida. Unfortunately, the negative side effect is that these people have to go somewhere. And unfortunately, many of them are choosing to go into suburban places. Despite the fact I came through here and cleaned, it's not over for this empty lot. I mean, there's so much debris from these homeless camps. You can see a cooler there, car tires. I mean, there's still a lot of garbage on this empty lot from these homeless camps. But standing here on this empty lot, you can literally see the school. So we can say that homeless camps in Bradenton, Florida have almost been eradicated. Now, that is not to say that homeless camps do not exist. We did run into a few inhabited homeless camps.
Yeah, I got it last week.
You want to have Haitian food?
Yeah.
Usually I like to make stories about Florida going to crap and things getting worse. But I have to admit, when it comes to homelessness in Bradenton, Florida, it's improved quite a bit. We love Bradenton, Miro. That crap is loud. That thing is loud. You can hear this guy from a block away. Alright guys, so some pretty sad news. If you follow my exploits on FU, I'm from Bradenton Facebook group. I recently got banned until the 28th of November. So, if you don't know, I post on this group a lot, and I really enjoy the group. It's kind of wacky. I post some of the craziest things on this group. And it's been kind of an online sensation here in Bradenton. In fact, a while back I had a post, I got so many likes that we had to delete the post because once it got to like 10,000 notifications, it became very annoying. So it's been kind of an online sensation when I post on this Facebook group, but the haters got the best of us and they convinced the administrators to suspend me from the group. Now, I had posted a post about eating wildlife. Raccoons, sandhill cranes, manatees, and sea turtles, and other things that are edible but not really legal to eat, but we still enjoy, I guess, dreaming about being able to eat those things. But somebody went on there and started posting stuff about Haitians, and it got my post deleted and my account suspended because other people were being disrespectful about Haitian people on the post about eating animals. That's why today in the back seat we're gonna go home and eat some Haitian food, but because of those people nasty and hateful comments, they ruined my post and got me suspended off a Facebook group. All the animals that live in Florida that are edible, but they're not legal to eat. But if they were, legal to eat, they would make good dinner options. It's kind of a hilarious thing because it's satire comedy, and people who've never seen it for the first time think it's real and they freak out. But if you've been in the Facebook group, you've been accustomed to my daily rants about things you could eat. And today I had found that baby raccoon, and that tender little thing would have made a great post, except for can't post it until the 28th. All right, guys, so we can clearly say that homelessness in Bradenton. Este tipo ahora con un camión haciendo bulla, sere. Take for example, the only thing people want to talk about right now is politics, and you guys know I don't talk about politics on my YouTube channel. Don't care for it, but people who are into politics are always trying to shove it down people's throats. So my YouTube revenue has actually been really bad in the last 2 weeks. I mean, since the election, YouTube revenue dropped significantly for most creators. But on top of that, my viewership dropped as well because I'm just not going to get involved in politics. It's like we're being punished right now for not getting into those topics, and your beliefs have to matter more than revenue. And in my case, I don't believe that I want to be part of the political problems that are out there, so I don't get involved in them. But the algorithm is punishing me. Now hopefully this is a short-lived thing and me and Katie can work together to get through this little situation. But people today have become so polarized that if you don't uphold their political ideologies, they won't support your YouTube channel. Even though my YouTube channel is about homelessness, travel, and social issues that are happening in Florida, it's hard to wrap my head around the notion that people want to cancel my YouTube channel or unfollow my YouTube channel because they believe that I'm not for the political party they're for. And it's kind of stupid because it doesn't fit in. It's like, I don't know, it's like going to a football game and expecting people there to like hockey. That's not really what we're there for. Some of you guys have been following me and Katie now for years and years. We look at YouTube as a very long-term trajectory. So we don't jump on every bandwagon that comes along. We do our banter videos where me and Katie argue, and people actually unsubscribe from our channel for those videos, which is interesting because it's kind of an artistic display of our interactions. It isn't exactly how me and Katie treat each other on the regular. It's just a creative edge that me and Katie pull out of the bag every once in a while, like we pulled it out recently because the YouTube channel has been suffering. So these are our personal antics that do really well. So me and Katie are going to continue to struggle to try to bring you guys content that makes us feel good. Like, I like to make content that when I go to sleep at night, I feel good about it. And a lot of YouTube creators are not conscious about the, social effect of their videos. So if you've been supporting our YouTube channel for a while, I really appreciate you. Make sure you get in the likes, the comments, and support our channel with participation on your end. Because right now, Katie and I, behind the scenes, are trying to litigate the weird time we're in, where the only content people want to watch is about politics. When we don't jump on these bandwagons, it's difficult. And even me, I got personal friends that we talk all the time, and we never have arguments or we never have disputes because we're friends. And lately, some of these individuals, the only thing they want to talk about is politics. When we talk on the phone or whatever, and I got to sit here and be like, hey man, this is getting overwhelming because the only thing you want to talk about is politics. And it seems to be the only thing on people's minds right now. If I wanted to dive into this topic, I could have so much content, make so much money, because I do have an edge on knowing how to identify things and making it relatable to people. If I wanted to jump on the politics bandwagon, I can make a lot of money. But it goes against my personal beliefs, and sometimes you have to be, again, a conscious creator where, you don't let the greed of money override your values, morals, and principles. And to me, getting involved in politics goes against my conscience. So it's a difficult and challenging moment. It's not that I can't do it. I could be great at it. I could be a great political analyst and describe all the things that are going on in a way that would get a lot. I could be a trending person in that right now. But it's not what we do. Well, as we can see though, homelessness is becoming scarce and homeless people are becoming more difficult to track. Now, I Uber drive late at night, and what I've noticed is that here in Lakewood Ranch, boy, you see a lot of homeless people at night. The last 2 times that I've done some of the homeless, there is, where are we at? What intersection is that?
This is Braden Run.
Braden Run. Look, there's shopping carts right there in the woods. This is several blocks from Walmart. So now the homeless are actually coming over here to the suburbs, and over by University, I've seen a lot of homelessness. So all the pressure that they're putting on the homeless people in Bradenton has pushed the homeless people in the Lakewood Ranch. And as I'm Uber driving late at night, I'm seeing homeless people with shopping carts and all that weigh the crap out here by University, by Highway 70. And I'm just sitting here like, wow, this is kind of crazy. Now the homeless are in the suburbs. I'm pretty sure there's homeless people hiding back there. Yeah, these people pay a lot of money to live here in Lakewood Ranch, and they're not going to tolerate this problem too much here, but that's what's happening. All right, guys, so this is my Haitian food. You got some griots, some plantains. This is a little spicy sauce you get for it, and then you get some Creole sauce, and then the black beans that are really nice. This is going to be my meal. This is a little bit nicer because she actually has oxtail, and oxtail is a lot nicer of a meal. You can see it there. It's just absolutely amazing, good Haitian food, and that's what we're having today. Haitian food?
I love it.
So if you've never had Haitian food, I definitely recommend it. Now, it's similar to Indian food where you have flavors and spices. where if you've never had it before, you might want to take it easy and slow and just see how you react to it, because it's very flavorful. But just like any Cuban or Puerto Rican food, it's rice, meat, and then plantain. What makes Haitian food special is the mix of the flavors. The beans have their own profile. You get 2 sauces. It's just a combination of all these flavors together that's incredible. And it's laid out just like Cuban or Puerto Rican food. You got rice, beans, it's typical Caribbean food, but the flavor points are specifically Haitian, different, and unlike anything you've ever had before. Haitian food is up there with Indian food as far as spices and flavors, so it's a food that takes a while to get used to, but once you get used to it, you'll love it.
It's so good, so much flavor. And I like a little spice in my life.